All right. Well, you want to start talking about Lead Tasso?
Uh, where to start? I mean,
Oh. Well, we can start with the beginning where do believe Andrew owes everybody an apology for ever bad mouthing Ted Lasso. It took some cajoling, but it got him to watch it, and now here we are. You finished. When did you finish? This week?
I finished, I want to say Wednesday, like maybe 2 nights ago or Tuesday, 3 nights ago. Yeah. And I think that you guys, I'm not calling myself Kal-El, but you went the Lois route. Like if you got to go through Lois to get Superman to do anything. So, the fact that like Saloni knew I was not a fan of Ted Lasso and still decided to like be with me is like huge because I think that everybody besides her who knew I didn't like Ted Lasso or wouldn't give it a chance was slightly offended and ha absolutely had to kind of downgrade me a little bit, just give me a little ding because it's like, what's wrong with you? But Kevin, in his infinite wisdom, said, you know what? Like he asked, like, did she watch Ted Lasso? And I said yes, and he said, okay, cool. You guys should watch it together. I suggested it to her. She beamed. She was like, let's do it. So we watched it together,
wait,
and
you
I
said she
remember.
beamed?
She beamed. She
Uh,
beamed. Her little INFP heart, like she beamed. And I will say for the first maybe two or three episodes, I was definitely kind of like sitting there like through clenched teeth, like trying to just like stomach it. But then as the show goes on, like it really started to like show like real substance and like just it's one of those like faith in humanity restored shows and like this is what's possible and this is how you can aspire to be just a better human being type show. And that to me was what I gravitated to, and the characters themselves were so rich. I don't care,
Mhm.
you don't have to like them or hate them. It's more of like,
oh,
do you feel something for them? Like Jamie
yes, dude.
Tart, I hated Jamie Tart in the beginning. So for
Mhm.
me, like from where he starts to where he goes, I'm getting chills just talking about it. Like it's that to me is the mark of like a great show. So I can now say, yes, I apologize everybody for like hating the show. But in my defense, and I'm almost done with this. In my defense, I do think because I'm introspective and I can be honest, the first time I was ever on APNC as a guest, thanks to you, Pete. By the way, it's so good to have you back. Like, this is such a great reunion. The first time I was sitting there like a total wallflower, had no idea what to say. And Ted Lasso was one of the topics that were brought up on that show. It was like November of like 2021 or something.
Mhm.
And I remember it just added to that feeling of not being in the know and kind of feeling alien in this new environment. And everyone talking about Ted Lasso, Ted Lasso. I've never said this to any of you guys. So I do think if I'm being honest with myself, that didn't help. So I'm just kind of like, you know what? I don't know what that is. And it made me feel weird. So like at Ted Lasso, be a fish. So anyway, that's my opening kind of like monologue, but I want this to be as organic as hell.
I absolutely love like so it was hard for me to it's hard for me to call it a comedy after having watched it. Now, to be fair, so my history with Ted Lasso, I did not pick up on Ted Lasso until the fifth episode. I kept hearing about it. People were talking about it. I got to like some shit popped up in my feed, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Okay, boom. Same thing with you. I enjoyed it from the beginning. I liked it. I like British humor. I like the accent. I was invested in the world very very quickly. Like it did hook me that way. I didn't fall in love with it until about the fifth episode
Yeah.
when I hit, and from then on it was I, I cannot. I don't want to say I can't get enough Ted Lasso, but it is one of those shows for me that you can put on anytime for any reason. I have very specific moments I love to watch. It's amazing because it's a comedy at its heart and at its core, and I get that. But with that character development and those storylines, it's so much more than a comedy, and it's there are so many stories and themes. I mean, you can't say at its core it's a story about a soccer team. You can't say it's a story about a coach. You can't say it's a story about this because it's a story about fathers and sons. Like, that runs through the theme with everyone. It's a story of, you know, obviously good against evil. Rupert Mannion,
Yeah.
such a good bad
Redemption
guy.
across the board. Like so
Oh,
many people
everywhere.
have their redemption arcs in the show.
I would actually say that, it starts off comedic, but
For
then
sure.
honestly, by like the middle to the end of season one, it's actually just straight up more of a drama with comedic elements. I will actually say it. Like, and there was certain episodes where I was like, dude, like I would jokingly say to Saloni, yeah, that was totally a comedy, right? Like when it was very, very serious. I'm trying, like for example, like when Keeley loses the PR firm over that whole scandal thing. I'm like, yeah, that was funny. Like I was being sarcastic at that point. Like it really does evolve. And the other thing that I just want to throw in really quick is I also love shows where they focus so much on other characters that the main character almost feels like a side character. Like I
Yes.
love that. And I think for certain episodes, especially in season three, they really drill into Keeley stuff, or again, Jamie, even the whole Jamie, Keeley, Roy kind of dynamic. I
Hmm.
mean, there's just so much to talk about. And then like, okay, we're just gonna jump around. I love how like everything made sense. Like none, there was no loose ends. Like that finale, that was one of the best finales I've ever seen, in my
Yep.
opinion. I felt
Yep.
like it was so neatly done. And at the very end, I was like, yeah, F it. Like, it's a spoiler, whatever. Like, I would like towards the end, I was like, well, at least they're not gonna like handle Mr. fucking Amsterdam, and then he fucking shows up. I was like, dude, this show is Chef's Kiss. I
Yep.
cannot believe Homeboy showed up because I think there's a certain beauty to those kind of like single serving friend situations, but
Yes.
the fact that they actually tied that up was like, oh, you guys, man, this
Yeah.
is this is art.
Just that panning shot of Jane and Beard's wedding at Stonehenge at the end, and you just see who's in that. The whole like sprinkling of people. You're like, oh shit, yeah. But the Mr. Amsterdam, that got me. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, neither did I. Because I mean, I was thinking to myself, because well, fuck him, man. Like I was literally thinking that, but then I was like, no, they didn't fuck him. So it's like, dude,
Well, because if
the
I remember
level
correctly, the little girl that they have play her is also the little girl I think in a flashback they had play young.
1,000%.
So
That
it
was so
like,
intentional.
Hmm.
yeah,
It was, yeah. The guy was almost like it was some weird karmic, like you can tell she never really had like she's someone who wanted to feel loved and feel taken care
Hmm.
of. And that's what he gave to her, because she's always been having to take care of herself.
yes,
Man. Oh,
Well,
I
let's
let me
yeah.
ask you this: since we're jumping around, jump us back
Yes.
to the earlier parts here.
yeah,
For you, Andrew, since you just finished watching, you've only been watching for the last couple of months. Do you feel like there was a moment that was like your this is it moment, like you're
Yes.
in?
1,000%. I think it was when you discover that Michelle, his wife, like wants to leave him. Like that's when it was like, wait a minute, like this isn't just this happy-go-lucky situation. It's like he's going through some really serious stuff. Then he starts having the panic attacks, and then oh my God, I think it was the karaoke night when they all go to karaoke,
Mhm.
and like he has his panic attack during karaoke, and Rebecca is like showing her pipes and she's like super awesome. He's in the alley and then she's there for him and she hugs him. And I was like, this show, like nothing about this, the fact that he's having a panic attack and he's really vulnerable, and Rebecca is kind of an ice queen, but she's actually like letting him in and they're having a real bond. That's when I said to myself, okay, this show is beyond yeah, the Diamond Dogs. It's episode 8. I'm looking at it right now on
okay.
LinkedIn.
Yeah,
And that was when I knew I was in for the long haul.
Oh,
yeah.
Diamond Dogs is great.
And even the
Yeah.
fact that they have like like that just it's so funny because it also talks about again, like there's so many angles. We can talk about the gay angle. We can talk about like the Nigeria angle and the asshole Ghanaian guy. But like, let's go back to like even male bonding. Like, I feel like
Oh yeah.
it's very hard to talk about male bonding without sounding like a red pillar or a manosphere type person. But I'm sorry, fellas need love too. And I love the fact that like this show says no, it is this is like positive masculinity to be like, okay, like we're not gonna like make it corny and always be all sappy with each other. We're gonna compartmentalize it, but we're still going to do it. So it's like, all right, everybody, Diamond Dogs, mount up, sit down, we'll have a talk, you know? And that's just it's good role modeling because so many of us, not me, because I'm awesome, no, but so many of us as dudes, like we bottle up inside, and that's not healthy, dude. Like it's just not.
I still cry, and sorry, we're jumping around, so
No.
I'm just gonna hit some moments here. We can discuss as we go, bruh. I still like ugly cry when Roy hugs Jamie after he punches
After his
his
dad.
dad, bro.
Mhm.
Every time, every time, because it's in that one moment that you see all that catharsis for Jamie. You see, you really understand why he is the way he is,
Yep.
where that all came from. And I think the rest of the team really finally understood Jamie at that point too. And I think that was actually right there to me the real end of Jamie's redemption. Like it was all like that was it. Like they finally got it.
Yeah, after that, Jamie was Jamie. Like he was just,
Yeah.
you know, for sure.
No, and also like when something that like there's no words. Like when something that traumatic happens to someone,
Yeah.
Roy just knew like there's nothing I can say. And even though we've been kind of enemies the whole time, I'm gonna put all that aside and see his humanity and give him what he needs. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like I think oh God, whatever. This is gonna be weird, but I just gotta say it. No, I'm not. I'm gonna do this. There was a show that was big in the '80s. I'm not gonna say what show it was, but anyway, the person who was the face of the show said that people would accuse us of being unrealistic, but his goal with the show was not the way things are, but the way things ought to be. And I think that that's what you can say about Ted Lasso too. It's like, is the real world like this? In a lot of cases, no. But I do think that Ted Lasso is showing us the way to be a bit more empathetic and caring and connected with each other. And that
Curious,
to
not
me,
judgmental.
that was where Kevin
Yeah.
was going
Yep.
with the darts.
Yep.
1000%. But no,
Yeah.
that was a great moment. You're so right. And I remember being a little blown away, but also touched that Roy did that in that moment. Because
Yeah.
they were not on that level yet, you know?
No. No, it was there, but it wasn't yeah.
Yeah, that was the real start of it for them, I think.
Yes.
Because they end up in a really good place the longer it goes on. For
Oh
me
yeah.
too, there's so many great little moments too. You talked about the way that they kind of carried things through. You have the entire first season where he's making her biscuits and she doesn't know, and we don't even know.
Yeah.
He's bringing the biscuit, and this was such a big deal that there were like a dozen copycat recipes on the internet. Like people were actually trying to figure out the Ted Lasso biscuit recipe. I myself made at least three batches.
I did.
Yep.
Yep.
And I love the moment when when he just gives up. He hands it to him. And he's like, fuck, I almost had it, or that was the perfect batch. Like I forget what he said, but he's got the moment where he basically accidentally tells her that he's the one making them, and then she's just like, shit, because she really in the beginning she really just wants to not like him. She wants
Oh
him
yeah.
to take the heat for everything and burn him. And by the end, like I love when she tells him that
Yeah,
that
that
it's
was
her,
rough.
and but he's just like, okay, and he's cool with it, and it's just one of those moments, and with everything that he'd already gone through that season, right, with his wife,
Mm.
with all the problems that he had with Jamie up until that point. All of that. It was an interesting moment for him for sure.
One of my favorite scenes. I mean, I'll zoom around. My favorite, Kevin, you could probably guess what my favorite episode is, but anyways, but beyond that, one of my favorite scenes also was just in the hotel where he gets really drunk and then he finally just kind of has to make peace with the wife and sign the divorce papers.
Yes.
Yep.
Like that was like a very real moment. And
Hmm.
I mean, I've never been in that situation per se, but I know as one particular moment in my life that I've definitely felt that like you're just trapped in your existence and you're in a world of hurt and you're just trying to numb the pain. But there's no escape. You can't escape your own head. And he just finally just has to like get through it and do it. And that was, whew, I was like, this is heavy, you know?
Yep.
And then right after that, he sleeps with Sassy,
Yes.
which
Yes,
is
that that
which is so. I think that to me is one of my favorite little situationships that got on there. The idea of the two of them together as a long term thing is bizarre. I think
but
she would.
I feel like okay, so a couple of things. I remember like it was funny. So me and Saloni would talk about this. When Sassy basically says, "Yeah, no, you were basically a hookup. You're a fuck up. You're nuts." Or whatever. Basically, I said to myself, if a dude said that to a girl, like I feel like he would be seen as a player and a dog and all this stuff. And she was like, "No, it's not true." I'm like, "Yeah, you know." But we just kind of agreed to disagree there. But I felt like. I think Ted absolutely wanted a relationship, and she was like, "Yeah, no, I just wanted a dick ride. That's fine." And I'm just like, that's not cool, but whatevs.
I think she also did like Ted, but she saw, especially in that moment, like where she came from, how I hate the term broken he was
No, but he
in
was.
that vein at
Yeah.
that point, and she was like, "No, I want this little mustache ride, but I'm not gonna like
Yeah. It
But
go
it,
any
doesn't that
it
I,
further."
would
I
have
would
been
feel
a she.
used. I would
Yeah.
feel used
She,
if I was
she
Ted.
she had the understanding though to know that if she went into that, she would get used for entirely different purposes.
Yes,
Like she would be the one carrying him through this thing he's going through, but it wouldn't last because it really was like there was no real basis for them to have a real
This
relationship.
is true. I agree with
So
that.
like she would have been he would have been unintentionally using her for the emotional support that he needed at the time. And then, when he started to feel good about himself or whatever, they would have ended up breaking up. And it would have been a lot of energy expended on realistically on both of their parts for something that
Yeah.
just, was right place, wrong time.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't think there's necessarily like a right or wrong answer to that, but I just felt like it just felt a little, I don't know. I felt bad for Ted, but at the end of the day, he did what he had to do to get to where he needed to go. And so that's fine. Um, but man, okay, so really quick then. Yeah, I gotta say it. So can anyone guess what my favorite episode was?
ooh,
I was looking and part of me wants to throw the blind one out there and say it's the beard episode.
All right, that's your answer. Pete, what do you think?
you know what? I'm gonna say your favorite was possibly in my one that's in my top three because I can't
Hmm.
pin down for myself a favorite episode of
Nice.
this show. Um, I believe it's called "No Weddings and a Funeral."
Is that the one where it's like,
That's the
yeah,
Rick
yeah,
Astley one.
that was a good one. That was a good one.
That's the
However,
one.
I will.
That's
No, I
go.
remember.
No,
I
no.
remember. Yeah, it was a good one because the mom and everything. That was really
Yeah.
good. Um, You're right, Kev. I love Beard. Fucking love Beard. I think it felt so. It felt like a movie.
Hmm.
It was like, uh, and Beard. Even the reveal. I think it was in the finale or close to the finale where you find out like when Beard has to get when Lasso has to get Beard to forgive what's his
Oh,
name
Nate.
Nate,
um
yep.
That
Nate.
is that moment, dude.
And I love how Beard's looking at him like. motherfucker. Like he's like, I cannot even fault your logic. But Beard is a trip, and he's such well, both of them, actually all of them, but to different degrees. You cannot judge a book by its cover, and you have no idea what people are going through or what their past was. But that Beard episode was just it was, I think, artistic, and it really played with your sense, in my opinion, of what reality actually was. I think have you talked about that, the whole the unreliable narrator or whatever you call
Hmm.
it, but it's like I don't even know what was real and what was not, and that to me was just so interesting. I love that episode. So it just it stands out. But outside of that, then I would say I would have to go back and check out the rest of the show. I mean, yeah, it's so hard. The back half of season one was awesome. I think season two was
Yes.
solid the entire time, and I think season three was like good, but then the last like several episodes were just epic. So
So,
yeah,
which season would you say was your favorite?
probably if I'm being honest, at least my first gut reaction, probably two. If I'm
Two.
being honest,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Two is the crux and the meat of everything. It has two, I believe, is has what I consider probably the best Christmas episode
Hmm.
of
Yes.
any show fucking like ever. You have a bunch of different stories going on there. They are so disparate and they are so funny and they are so perfect. The Higginses are the family that everyone
So
wants to be,
amazing. Yeah.
and you get all those people in together. Then you've got Keeley showing up for Sexy
Halitosis.
Christmas,
Oh
and
yes.
and then Roy's like, "Fuck that, we're gonna find a dentist,"
It's so funny.
and he just goes door to door, all that shit, like that whole.
Only in London could you do that on Christmas Day, by the way, and for people
Oh,
to actually like not like shoo you away, but actually be like, and then be like, you were very rude. I'm sorry. Like, like at the door on Christmas over bad breath. And I love how like it could be that bad. And she's like, they're like, damn. It's just funny, but it's
oh,
because of the
can I? And we have to. I mean, if we, I don't know, we can start just going character by character now. Roy Kent,
love Roy
um,
Kent.
Hmm.
he's so funny because he's so anti Brett Goldstein.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, he is absolutely nothing like he doesn't even sound like Brett Goldstein.
No, if you watch, and a good way to do, Brett Goldstein's got a stand up hour
Yeah.
or
He's in
90 minutes.
Shrinking now too, isn't he?
Yes, but I think personally, Roy Kent's use of the word fuck needs to be put in that same sphere as Samuel
ah,
L. James motherfucker
yeah.
use. Like he just in any situation for any.
When the teacher tells him she's swearing too much, he's like, "Bye." It's like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which actually reminds me, so like that's the other thing about it. So a lot of things like when it comes to any TV show or movie or whatever, like I ask myself like who do I relate to the most? Who can I connect with? That's also partly like what I do. And I will admit that when I first started watching the show, I really couldn't connect with anyone, honestly, just for me personally. But I will say that if forced or pigeonholed, right, believe it or not, I would say kind of like, now I am like Roy is a bit too rigid, but aspects of Roy I definitely feel. But the old Andrew, the guy who was from like Cal High, college, and even when I arrived in New York, I was thrown to the wolves, but then came back leading the pack, so to speak. Fucking Nate. Like Nate's story is depressing and cringy because like I remember being not exactly like him, but I remember even like at my old job, I'll be honest with you, like the boss was kind of Rupertish, and it's like I started taking on those aspects, and it helped me in life. But I threw away the parts that were not nice, but kept the parts that gave me strength, if you will. So, but I never would ever, 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 ever turn my back or betray the person who platformed me. And so when Nate makes his heel turn, yo, I hated that motherfucker. I
Hmm.
hated him. All right. Y'all talk
Well,
about who you related to or who you like,
well,
Well,
whatever. But
here's the funny thing. Who I would relate you to is Rebecca.
really? Huh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very, very like professional, very like stern is the wrong word. She's definitely more stern, but like very focused and rigid and you got a thing to go, but then you can come down. Those walls can come down. You can be a little more open and stuff like that. Like you're a very professional person, right? Like life is very focused. And she was very focused, and then Ted happened, you know.
but you know what though? No, Kevin, I'm actually going to second that. Actually, now that you say that, in your love life, you didn't just settle for fine.
Mhm. That's true. I love that line from Roy too.
Oh,
Yeah, that is so
that
it's so
moment,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like, fuck you. He's like, don't. He's like, you don't deserve
Oh, right.
Fine.
just okay or just fine. You deserve
With
fireworks and
lightning bolts, yeah.
yeah, it's a great moment because like he is in no way hitting on her or putting like
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to make a move on her, but he is still able to very clearly say, you are worth
Way
so
more
much
than
more than
that,
you're
dude.
giving yourself
Yeah.
credit for. And I think that moment was really great. It was a great one for her to hear, but it was a great one for Roy to like you see that like Roy is seeing things that other people either aren't seeing or aren't willing to point out.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
but yeah, I think and to be fair, funny enough, Rebecca's one of my favorite characters. Like I love all the stuff that she goes through.
Yeah.
Doesn't help that I think Hannah Waddingham's gorgeous. Like
She is. She's an
yeah,
Amazon.
yeah, she's awesome, and plus she can sing. I mean, like she's
Oh,
Yeah,
dope. Like
right?
she's super
like,
dope.
yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, she's just awesome. Um, as for like characters that I don't even know, man. I don't know who I put myself in. Um,
Your
I
beard.
definitely like. I mean, yeah, I'm either Beard or Roy. Like, like it's one of the two. I don't have the energy to be.
Beard.
No.
Oh.
Danny Rojas.
Oh God.
You know.
Oh, I
He
love
I
was
Danny.
funny.
I love his first appearance too. He just comes out. He's like
Football is
Danny
life.
Rojas. Yeah. And then when Roy's getting all pissy and he kicks the ball and it
The
hits
dog.
the goalpost and he's like,
Oh,
"Oh,
oh,
that was amazing!" And they have like this whole like shoot off where they're trying to hit the goalpost,
yeah.
and Danny's he's just having fun, and Roy's just getting pissed. It's so great. But yeah, there's a lot of moments like that in here where you see people um, just having a good time or just doing the thing that they love and then it brings out that love from somebody else. Or when Roy takes dude, Andrew, you brought this one up with me before, but when Roy takes dude down to the soccer fields
Oh,
to remind him like why you play the game, I think is a great moment. Like just remember the reason that you do the things you do, dude. Why do you do the thing you love?
if I had to be pressed to say what my favorite episode is, it would be that Rainbow.
Oh, okay.
I would say there's that to me typifies what I love about the show. It's just ridiculous creative nonsense to some degree. The whole idea, the rom communism, just
Mhm.
the whole thing is it's just a silly premise for an episode, but they wind up making it this beautiful thing throughout. And that moment when Roy takes Isaac down to play with the kids, and Isaac's like, "Oh, I'm a fucking professional, bro. I'll kill them." It's shit like that. It's and then he gets in, and that first dude just slide tackles him in, and he's just like, "Oh, all right, yeah." And
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it takes you back to like the 80s and 90s when street basketball was like the big thing, right?
yes,
Like there's a different energy and aesthetic to it, and the professional sport gets so uptight and so like locked in all these rules, and when you have the street version of it, whether it's
the and
backyard
one,
baseball or whether it's yeah,
yeah,
street basketball or, NBA Jam, kind of stuff. Like, you take this thing that is so locked in at the professional level, and you take some of that out. That's why it's always been more fun for me. Like, it's actually more fun to go to a minor league baseball game or to go to a college basketball game than it is to go to the professional version, because those people are fighting for a spot. Like, they're
Mhm.
still trying to come up.
They're
Once
hungry.
you're already up there at the top,
Yeah.
then you're following the rules and just trying to stay there, and it's a different feel. And you kind of want to see those people that still remember what's fun about the thing that they do.
What
But
about you, Pete? Any characters that really kind of stood out or you saw yourself as?
Healy,
Right. No, I think that's the other thing that I loved about this show so much. At any one time, or at given times throughout the show, I could empathize and see myself or facets of a character in myself and behavior. And I think that's what I did love so much about this show, is that I was really able to feel everybody. And I think that's why when a lot of those moments happen, especially towards the end of the second episode or end of the second season into the third, and a lot of those things start to clear up, like it's very emotionally satisfying.
Sure.
yeah, yeah,
Sure. Sam is someone who I was like, that dude is a better man than I. Like he is
Oh,
someone who I think always chose the good in every scenario, in every situation. And I think the part where I was really like, man, you are a better man than I, was after like um I think it was in season three where the Ghanaian rich guy shows up and it just
season
starts
two. It's the second to last episode of
no
season two.
Okufu. Okay, hold.
Akufu no
Okay,
but he's like talking to him, maybe it's in season two, but either way
you
he's talking to
Yoruba
him at
trash.
in the restaurant and he's literally saying it's like boom 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 to his face trying to get a rise out of him,
Hmm.
Yeah,
and he does not like react, he just like takes it and lets him go. I'm just like, dude, oh man, like it would, yeah, if I was him, but the thing is, here's what it is. Sam did it. Sam didn't react for the reasons of moral, like he's just a good guy. I wouldn't react because if I hit this guy, he's just gonna sue me, because he's got the money and the juice and the power. So it's my thinking brain that would stop me. But if there was any part of me that thought I could get away with it, oh, I would fucking destroy him. I would like literally, I would scar him emotionally and physically. But Sam is that's not who he is. Like he's just a good dude. And then let's Sam and Rebecca, like that to me
oh,
I thought was very brave and I think very forward thinking for the show to do on two
Hmm.
levels. One, older woman,
Yeah,
younger man, boss employee, obviously the interracial thing. Like it was so wow, they went there, and while it didn't last, it still felt authentic. And that to me, and Sam was even cool, like he handled, being let down well. So I just thought that was kind of it was refreshing. I don't think I've ever seen that ever in a show before.
yeah. This show handled things like that really well. One of my all-time favorite shows, comedies, is Schitt's Creek, and one of the things that makes that show special is that, especially with David being gay, it is just him. He's just like it's not a thing that we have to discuss, and it doesn't have to be like the main focus of the show, and it's not a show about a gay guy, whatever. That just happens to be who he is, and then we move on with the show. And I
yeah,
think in Ted Lasso, we have the moment where the one guy comes out and the dude gets pissed at him, and he's like, "Fuck, I'm sorry, sorry." And the guy's
oh,
like, he's like, "I'm just mad that you didn't believe in me enough to tell me
Dude,
Rupert.
I'm
before."
sorry. I
Yes,
have to
Like,
jump in
Isaac.
here.
Oh,
Dude, I have to jump in here. Yes, Kevin. I forgot because Isaac was being so weird about it.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
remember like kind of being extremely disappointed in Isaac,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But then when Isaac reacts so badly when that fan uses that word and he's like, "What did you say? What did you say?" And he goes up in the stands, and then I'm just kind of like, "What is
Wait,
Isaac
what's going on?
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Yeah.
like
he
it is
too?
like yeah, is
Like what's
Isaac
going on?"
closeted and mad? Like
So
And
the
then
fact,
before you get onto that, Roy's press conference afterwards when he talks about like he did whatever he did for whatever reason he did, like
so
that
mind your
whole
fucking business, basically. Yeah.
yes, that was
That- yes.
just amazingly
Masterclass.
well written. And then yes, on into go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. And then so then when you finally get that moment where it's like I'm just offended, like we're boys, and you never
What was
trusted
it
me enough.
about me?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
what was it
yeah,
about me that
Yes,
made
what
you
was it
felt
about
like?
me that made you not want to tell me?
And I was just like, see, I'm just getting chills right now.
Yeah.
Like wow, like
yeah.
what? Like, and I love that. Then it just felt so natural. Like, come on, like, hey, let's hang out. Like, let's just like hang out, whatever. And it was just wow, because again, even McAdoo, like his character, his face, he does seem kind of like like
Oh yeah.
yeah, right. But it was
Yeah.
just so well done. It's just so well done. And even the Trent Colin dynamic, like I love. I
Oh,
mean, Trent was
Hmm.
someone who
the
kind of I
LGK baby gay Trent Krim is one of my absolute favorite characters in the entire show. That I think actually if I can pinpoint the
yeah.
moment that hooked me, you're not even going to believe what it was. But it's when Trent and Ted
Go to
were
dinner.
at dinner at the Indian place.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah, yeah.
That interaction, there was something about that entire interaction that at that point, that's when I said, "Oh yeah, that's it. I'm fucking in."
yeah.
There's
I
something
actually
about
love.
this.
I love that whole interaction because Ted, because it's that really is the moment where he realizes who Ted is,
Yeah.
and then he writes about it,
Yeah.
obviously, but you see Ted's just like, I will not let this guy down. I won't let this guy who did this nice thing, feel bad about anything. And he's just sweating his ass off, biting into this food that's only getting hotter. And
So good.
like, and his little comments in there are hilarious too. Like he's like, I don't think I can taste anymore. He's just like, I don't like hilarious.
Yeah,
But
I love Trent and I don't know, I read him as possibly INTJ, so that's another character I did find myself relating to.
Oh yeah.
And but I just love how Trent like because when you first meet him, obviously he's like this critical, like
Trent Krim, the
poking holes,
Independent.
Yes, but then like you see that, and I love the fact that like he's the one who I know he leak he was the source. Yeah, yeah, I think he leaked something or something or
That when Ted, it was Ted's panic attack.
mm, yeah,
that's right.
yeah,
But either way, but then he left the paper for I think
Yes.
moral grounds on that. It's good
yeah,
journalism, but I'm leaving, whatever.
And
But
speaking to what Kevin talked about redemption earlier, after that, he comes to Ted, apologizes, and pitches a book, and then he's hanging out with the fucking team.
yep,
no,
He
it's great.
becomes part of the family.
And I
Like,
just and I loved again that he was able to make Colin like he sees what Colin did, but he's just
yes.
more like I have sympathy and for this guy, and I just want to make sure I'm gonna help him kind of go through his journey. And can I say really quick, I feel like I may have texted this to you, Kevin. I feel like the way Ted Lasso handled Colin was so much better than the way Stranger Things handled
Oh, 100 fucking percent, dude. A hundred
right?
percent. Oh my god.
Like it was so like
100
unforced and
percent.
so natural and
yeah.
just that's how you do it, not like, hey everybody, gather around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's all
Like
gather. Let me tell
oh
you a tale about how gay I am. Yeah, it was just like, yeah, in that's the thing about almost all of Ted Lasso too, is that everything feels so natural.
yeah,
Everything seems like when they started episode one, they knew where the season three finale was going to be, and it's like they knew every moment in between. Like it doesn't, you don't ever feel like there was a storyline that surprised them and they had to write or anything like
Right.
that.
Yeah. No. No, the entire show feels completely crafted. Like when they announced that it was the end of the third season was going to be the last season, you never you always kind of wonder if they haven't put out enough information. Was that the writers of the show, or was that the studio and the did Apple say no, we're done with this
Yeah,
thing that you're doing
and
here?
when you watch that finale, you can tell like that was the end. Like this whole season four
Yeah,
thing was something that I think Apple wanted and they wanted to work out and all this.
Yes.
But like if it didn't work out, if it never happened, you would
that was totally fine.
no one
Oh,
would be
Yes.
the
completely.
wiser. Like you wouldn't ever have had to
Oh,
announce anything about it, and everybody would have
Nope.
been satisfied that it ended at season three.
yeah.
Thousand
I
percent.
think it didn't force anything at the end.
Right.
It wrapped up
I will say there's
storylines. I feel
there's
like
only one thing. Sorry, I keep cutting you
no,
off.
go
I
ahead. No,
apologize.
no, no, no.
There's only if forced, pun intended, to think there was only one thing that did feel a little forced for me was the fact that Nate ends up right where he started. That felt a little too on the nose, I think, because dude, you went from like the kit guy to like literally in a black suit, the tactical genius over at
Hmm.
the other team, and now you're actually reporting to the other kit boy. That's a little too much, man. Like no one's gonna go that far back to the beginning. That's the only thing
Yeah.
that felt a little bit like that's you're making this work for the story versus for the character. And trust me, you guys probably know this. I'm not that critical when it comes to like story beats. I'll accept it that makes it work. But that's this but it's like that's me fishing for something. But outside of that, to me, everything else was like perfect, in my
No,
opinion.
I can actually agree with you on that. That I do feel you're right. There is kind of a thing with like they had to put Nate somewhere. Where are they going to put him? They can't just put him back on the coaching staff.
No.
Like that would be too. But putting him back, the assistant to the kit man is fucking hilarious.
It's
That
like how burned.
the idea that he's now, yeah,
Lower than low.
yeah, like that is. But in the end, they use Nate's play to,
Right? And that
you
was
know,
great. That was beautiful.
I
Can I also say really quick, I really oh my God, what's her name? Shit. Nate's girl. Anyway, she
oh
the
not
one who was working at the
not
restaurant.
ISIS. Uh,
Like we're yeah, I'm just gonna say
I hear him calling like saying her name in my
it's like
head.
Jezebel or Jasmine or something. I don't know. But either way, it's not Jezebel.
Jezebel.
But anyway, like she was so mean. Like so I don't know. Like if I was like him, like I mean, yes, she was cool once they got together and she supported him, but in the beginning I just felt like she was so unnecessarily mean to him and would not give him the table and like even the manager was like cooler to him than she was. So
Well, okay,
I
the manager kissed his ass once he found out that
yeah,
all of a
but
sudden he was a thing.
that's life.
I think though that was important because it shows you that thing with Nate. Because remember when they're doing the whole thing where they're trying to hype Nate up and teach him how to do it,
Yeah.
and Rebecca does her thing. Nate hypes himself up by spitting in his
Which
own
is the
face in the
grossest thing.
mirror.
I
Like that
could
self-hatred, he takes
Yeah.
that self-hatred and burns that and puts that out like that is such a weird character thing and such a deep like her thing. And that's when he goes back and he's like, nope, we like the table and da 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 da. And you're just like, that's really fucked up. That's why like when Nate like I love that's one of my favorite shots of the entire show is end of season two. It's just that sliding pan into a zoom and it's the back of a head and you don't know who it is and it turns around and it's Nate as head of West Ham and it just I love the Nate Shelley story arc. At first I didn't
go.
think I was going to.
Jade. That was her name. Keep
Jade,
going.
there you go. um he's such a weird cat,
Mhm.
but
Let's go.
I think he's another one of those people that you can identify with in
1000%.
so many ways
1000%.
because Nate wants he wants to be accepted. And
Yes.
it took me a while to really understand why he felt like Ted dropped him. Because you really feel like it's in that moment. It's in rom communism, like he's kind of feeling some distance, and it's not a thing. But then when Roy shows back up, all of a sudden it's like there's no room for Nate, the Wonderkind,
Yep.
anymore, and that's when he goes and fucking slaughters a bunch of younglings
Right.
and
I was just gonna
fucking
say that. He went Anakin. And I'm just like, what's wrong with you? Even did you guys catch even what's his name? Rupert's place and you saw the mirror, I mean
oh
the window behind him? That was
yes, dude, I
totally
thought the
Star
same
Wars.
thing. I was like, this is
He had a
not.
black cape.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh,
keep
it was
going.
fucking no. It was great. I was like, oh my god, could you be more evocative? But at the same time,
Well, and
it
you,
wasn't cheesy or corny.
yeah, it was a nod for sure. And Sudeikis is a Star Wars
Oh
fan.
Oh,
yeah.
He's
okay, cool.
he's in the Mandalorian. He's got that scene in the Mandalorian. He plays a stormtrooper,
Nice.
and they have their dialogue back and forth. It's when the stormtroopers have kidnapped little Grogu and they've got him in
Oh,
a
are we the bad
bag.
guys? Is that him?
I don't know. It
Yes.
was
Yes. No.
him
I
and
think it's
somebody else.
him.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
think
they're
it's
just
Jason
sitting
Statham.
Are
there
we the bad
like
guy?
having a conversation back and forth. That was him, and he wanted to be in that, and so
That's awesome.
obviously a Star Wars fan, and so clearly that's a nod that
Oh yeah.
is like super subtle. Like if you don't know what it's a nod to, you don't even see it,
Nope.
Right.
right? Um,
And
but
again,
brilliant,
but again, all praise to the set designer on that one, because if you don't know what you're looking at, it just looks like a bad guy's office.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't look out of place. It doesn't look like there's, like you said, Kevin. It's just enough of a nod. It's like a little bit of paneling that you're like, ah,
yeah.
yeah,
But yeah,
uh,
Nate, and I love so yeah, so Nate, Jade, but Jade, a couple of things. I love what you said about self-hate. Not once did that occur to me. I just thought it was just some weird ritual he did, like when I think Rebecca does that, whatever, which is also kind of gross to me. But anyway, anything with phlegm and spit, I just can't do. But you guys, anyways, uh, moving right along. Um, I put too much into that. Um, but oh my God, I can't remember now. So that's awesome because I do think that there has to be some self-hate to go to the dark side, if you will, right? And I think that that's what Nate did. I also thought it was so painfully awkward, but so painfully realistic when drunk ass Nate, when he's getting fitted at the for his new suit, is then talking to Keely and he's feeling like the attention from Keely and he just goes in for the kiss because she's like, you gotta go for it in life, and he just does it. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? But the funniest part about it was like how Roy was like, yeah, fuck
dismissive.
it.
It was like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
He's not even
He's
remotely threatened.
yeah,
It's like
Which is
no,
the worst. Like, I
yeah,
think that had to make Nate feel terrible. Like, wow, this motherfucker doesn't even see me as a threat. Like, what?
yeah, like
yeah,
in a
You
million
made a mistake.
years.
Whatever.
yeah. There's
Next.
0% chance that I'm worried about you.
Yeah. Oh, that was such a funny moment.
Oh man. No, Nate's great. But yeah, and I just think that like Nate, I haven't even looked it up, but if I had to guess, he's probably an INFP. Like I do think that like male INFPs, as a former one, you got it rough, man, because it's like you're just so meek. Like, if you want to know what a male INFP is, that's fucking Frodo Baggins, dude. And Frodo Baggins is not gonna be like running anything. Like if anything, he's the one people are protecting, and that's great and all. But at the same time, just as a dude. Like society does not reward men who need protecting. I'm sorry. Like you're supposed to be the protector, not the protectee, you know? So anyway, I remember feeling like it came out of left field when Nate just turned on Ted. But I do think maybe if I rewatched it, I would see that Roy Kent like moving in and him feeling sidelined. I also remember that Nate would get really nasty. Like he would actually like he would always have these really like he would have these comebacks and cut people down
Oh,
or treat people
Hmm.
like shit, even back at Richmond. And I'm like, dude, like, what's going on here? You know, like, you get a little power and now you're evil.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I think
yeah,
too
well,
in the
there's the
beginning he started so small, right? Like he
yeah,
and Roy fit into that big time. Like when he was trying to go around with like the box, the collection box or whatever, and like Roy put his
yes.
gum in there. Like they were shitty to him in the beginning, and then he finally got his opportunity to come up, and I think he took it in the wrong direction,
Well, it's
right?
exactly what Andrew said though. It's that moment for Nate happens when they're in the locker room. They're down at halftime, and Nate basically fucking roasts them all,
Yep,
even Roy. And
yep.
that's when Roy like freaks out and runs over and grabs and like rips up the bench and freaks out and they all go out and they don't, if I remember correctly, they don't win. They just like attack the other team. I think it might have,
I
I
think I
think it might
remember
have been
that.
that one.
Yeah, anger is not,
There's one which in and of itself is a nod to the classic 80s hockey movie Slapshot.
which I never saw actually.
Yeah,
I've seen Hoosiers, but that's different. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Hoosiers, that's a whole other night.
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch it though. I gotta give people love. I'm sorry, I'm looking through everybody. Like the cast, they all,
Oh,
yeah, they're
there's no there. That's the other thing. There's no one in the cast I don't like. Like I even like. I hate the character, but the performance of Rupert, like
oh
he's the
yeah.
No,
perfect.
so he's so good. He's so freaking
Just
so
he's like
slimy, man.
slimy. Just an evil dick of a human being.
And
I love Dr. Field.
Oh,
Dude, I actually was kind of rooting. Yep. Okay, it's a couple of things. So I was definitely like, if, and I loved how the show did it so well. Like, and Sloane loved it too. So I felt vibes, okay, but there's just vibes. I felt vibes between Ted and Rebecca. I did at certain points,
mhm.
right? I felt vibes between Ted and the doctor, but it's like, but I just love that. I think maybe what it teaches you is in life, there will always be vibes, okay? But that's okay. There's fucking vibes, but you don't have to act on it and you don't have to even like ruin the purity of the intimacy because intimacy, like I said on the last episode, doesn't have to be romantic. It's still emotional closeness. And I think that's what this show celebrates. So I want to make room for maybe talking about those dynamics or at least talking about Dr. Field because I think I need Dr. Field. But anyway, the psychiatrist.
Yeah,
Uh, she
Sharon, right?
she
yeah,
was
Dr.
great.
Sharon.
Sharon, Dr. Sharon. She was, whew, anyways, and she's beautiful
I,
actually. Looking
I
at her like on
couldn't
other places.
I couldn't figure out what they were going to do with that character. She was
Huh.
obviously in some ways the anti-Ted
Mhm.
when she comes in, but she's able to fix these guys' problems. Which Ted, up to that point, like she was a huge threat to Ted at first.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you could feel that right from the beginning with him that it was all of a sudden like, oh, this lady's gonna come and fix my team. I should be the one. And that goes to a certain personality type actually, with emotions like Andrew, you were talking about pushing stuff down, and that he finally does break down and talk to
Yes.
the doctor,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then
Yes. Yes.
you see a different side of her as well, because
Yes.
now all of a sudden you're on the inside of a therapy session with her, and Dr. Sharon actually winds up being like, I don't want to say a favorite character, but I'm like, I love that she's watching them at the end.
Yes. Thousand
um
percent.
I hope she's one of the ones that winds up returning for season 4. Um, that should be good. We'll talk about that later because I have feelings. I I I had a love hate with Dr. Sharon at
Uh-oh.
first because I didn't like her at first. I was like, she's very
Huh.
close out. I don't like the way she's. But that's because that was Dr. Sharon's mentality and how she drew boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like I don't know, just the way she did it was off-putting to me, but
Oh.
it worked. for her. It
Yeah,
worked for the character. I'm rambling at this point. I
no,
just
you're no, this is great. It's funny because yeah, her boundary game was next level. Like,
oh
and I'm someone who's actually very kind of big on boundaries, believe it or not. Just because I feel like it's important to it's for your self-preservation and then also to make sure that you're not kind of like overextending yourself for other people or overextending yourself on other people. Like to me, it's like it's both. And another thing that I thought was realistic was a lot of people who go into therapy, right? Like a lot of them are kind of fucked up themselves, And the fact that like you see that she has like I think it was like alcohol like everywhere. Like, it's like she's got her own shit to deal with, but it's
yeah.
like this is kind of her way of like getting through things. And I know what it's like to feel vulnerable. And I feel like Ted's someone, God, Ted's the shit. We're gonna get to Ted in a second. But like Ted, fuck it. Ted to me is it's a cliche, but it's so true. I feel like to be sometimes you got to go through shit to be the shit. And to me, Ted has gone through so much shit, and that's why he's such a nice guy because he knows what the other side is like, and he has compassion for his fellow man, fellow human because of what he's gone through. And he's not just this happy-go-lucky, naive Pollyanna. Nah, he's seen some shit. He's lived some shit. But that's why he's like, be kind. Just be kind. And so but when he finally is like able to kind of start dealing with the trauma of his dad's suicide, like, you know, this is someone, Dr. Sharon, who's finally let him get through it. And I'm sure he wanted like more time, but then she'd be like, yeah, time's up, And she was just good about just, sorry, like this. Yeah, he's like, you're not gonna charge me for this. Like, yeah, I'm absolutely gonna charge you for this. And it's like, I just laughed, but it was just like, but at least she kept it real. I think healthy boundaries are important. You can't save everybody. It's like emotional conservation. This is literally stream of consciousness talking. It's like environmentalism. It's like if you things are finite, everything is finite. I'm having my Thanos moment. Even like your emotional energy is finite, and you have to kind of regulate that accordingly. So, Kevin, you haven't talked as much as like us two, so I want to make sure you're jumping in here as well.
Yeah, no, I did. I liked Sharon's whole thing. I like, there's the moment with the voicemail. You've got these moments that sort of really kind of define the moments that they are in the show, right? Like it when she has her bike accident
Mm,
and we're all of a sudden worried about her. That's when you realize how much she means to the show in that specific season. Like she's actually like super pivotal.
And
Um,
she gives us the nod to Robin Williams in Goodwill Hunting
I
mm,
need to watch that again too.
yeah,
when Ted sends her his letter at the end and she says, "Oh, he stole my line."
Hmm.
That's right from Goodwill Hunting when Robin
yeah,
Williams reads the letter from Matt Damon.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. It's really her character is really just beneficial. I think, it gives you a different side of the whole thing. And I think from a writing standpoint, it's an opportunity for us to get inside of Ted in a way that
Yeah,
we wouldn't if he wasn't in therapy. Like there'd be
right.
no other reason to break him down like that. So from a storytelling standpoint, she's really important. Um, and like you said, when we get to the drama about his father,
Mm,
that's a whole other side of Ted that we didn't even know was there.
no. No. And that is rough. And even like when his mom shows up and it's finally like he's like, like he's like fuck you, like for like for pretending everything was okay and not talking about it and all this stuff that like he really had like a problem with and they were able to kind of get past it, because the mom is just kind of like I just did the best that I knew how to do, but thank you for like letting me know that this is how you felt and they were able to get past that. But it was like yeah, like it's just that's a lot to carry around. And then again, going back to even like Ted and Coach Beard's relationship, like I love it reminds me kind of like the same way, like I don't know if you, both of us have watched Battlestar Galactica, but Adama and Ty. Like it was like
Hmm.
there's the Adama and Ted are like that, and then you got the number two who's like, but that always has her back. But Ty was a raging alcoholic and a total liability. But Ty was like always had Adama's back no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
chill just thinking about it. And
I
and Beard like stole his car and everything,
That's
but
one of my
he's
favorite lines in the entire movie. Was when I went to get some bread. He's like, I had a loaf of meth when they bust him up. Well, that guy, Brendan, I think it's Brendan Hunt.
yep.
Yeah.
He was, I think, and I could just be pulling this out of my ass, but I believe one of the stories was because he's one of the writers and producers, is that there was a bunch of people up for that one, and they couldn't quite find the right person, and he just stepped in and was like, "No, I'll do it." Like I beard, and it just worked.
He killed the role.
Yeah.
Oh
Killed it.
Brett Goldstein was the same way. Like
yes,
he
he was
wasn't.
reading for he was originally going to read for Trent Krim.
Yeah. He was not going to be Roy Kent.
Yeah,
And he did the whole gruff thing, like kind of on a whim, and then they were like,
that's perfect.
"You're
Even
Roy
the way he
Kent."
stands.
Oh, all
Roy
of it.
Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red, orange, yellow, Roy, tie-dye shirt.
Whistle, whistle.
Whistle! Yes.
So
Oh
funny.
man.
And
And
I
it's
love
kebab. Sorry.
I love the like the family at the bar too, right? We've got the bartender
Oh,
May.
Thank
We've got
you.
the
Thank
two like the
you.
two
The three guys.
is there
Yeah, and
three
then
of them?
like
yes.
the
Yeah.
there's three
It's
of
three
them.
guys. It's
And then
Nigel.
the
Hold on, I
bar.
know them. It's Nigel
Nigel Baz and I forget who the other one is.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they actually play a part in that Beard episode too. But
Yes.
but they're so
Yes.
like they're so funny how, especially in the beginning, like how much they hate him, and then you know, then ultimately they love him, and
Can
even
we
May,
talk
like
about
she's
that
so
for a
good.
second? Like the
Yeah.
fact that I almost forgot how much hate Ted got.
Oh
Wanker was
yeah.
literally like wanka, wanka, wanka. And it was just like how it goes from that to like, oh, I also love
When
really quick.
when his son says, "What's a wanker?" and he's like, "Oh, that's just a man with too much time on his hands."
It's,
But actually it's not a lie exactly. But
Yeah.
no, but like the fact that they didn't win like the actual
Hmm.
championship to me was a nice touch, because it's
yes.
Yeah.
like, it's like that's just how it be sometimes, but like I still love that they were able to celebrate that almost win. Like
Hmm.
anyways.
I love that moment when that day, the day after the story breaks, when the guy that always calls Ted a wanker on his walk in
Hmm.
with Beard, like still talks shit, but then goes, "You'll be all right.
Yep.
Keep up." They forget, like they forget this is, and you're just like, "Oh my god, this is just like."
Yeah.
Even the shitty guy is like, "It's all right."
Yep. And I love the long running thing too, where outside his apartment there's that girl that's always playing soccer.
Yes,
And I really hope she's part of season 4 somehow. Like,
supposedly
Wouldn't
she's
wouldn't
supposed
that be
to be.
amazing if she actually is like a player on the women's league? Like that'd be what
or,
like an
or even
unintentional
if she's like
foreshadow.
the Nate of that, right? Like, even
Oh,
if she's,
Yeah,
good call.
just something somewhere where she's got to be involved if they can, because even though her part was really small, she was super formative to some of the things that Ted learned and knew
Mhm.
yes,
in there, and so she played a big part, even though she was only there a little bit.
yeah. I hope she is too. I think that would be another little a nice little transition from the old to the new.
Yeah.
Um,
I think her name might have been Shannon because I'm
I think
looking
you're
up
right.
the scat the cast. I almost said scat. That's so weird. I'm looking up the cast.
It's all
Hilarious.
poopy.
Right. Bronson Webb is Jeremy. He's one of the guys. So it's so there's Jeremy, there's Baz, and then there's Paul, I guess. They're
Paul.
the three like the barflies, if you will. And then even the bar owner, I think, was like,
May,
I don't know, I
May.
she's
just
awesome. She's
she's
so
awesome.
great.
Yeah, May. Yeah. Yo, every time, like I try to eat healthy these days, but man, I think literally last Saturday, Friday, we went and just ate like bar food. Like we went to like a casino and got like a burger and fries because I always watch that stuff and I always feel a little queasy afterwards, but I don't care. So like I need to get like fries in that cup, like where the fries are
Yep.
sticking up, and then the burger and because it just always looked good to me. Anyways, that was just random, but
Pub food's the best, man.
I
But
guess I
but
yeah.
yeah.
I need to see.
Uh,
I need to eat healthier because you're talking about
Can
that,
we
and I'm
talk
like,
about
yeah.
Keely for a second? Because I
Oh,
feel like if you're like, again, it's all dudes in this show, right? But if Sony was here, she'd be talking about Keely all day. So, like, I know Kevin, when we started, um, funny. So when we started, first, I think you had said Keely's one of your favorite characters, and I
yeah.
said literally in episode 3 or 4, I'm like, oh yeah, Roy's gonna steal Keely from Jamie, and then you're like, Keely can't be stolen, you know? But then you were just kind of like, but you didn't say anything else. So I was just kind of like, okay, I think I'm onto something. And then of course, because I just saw the chemistry right away. But Keely, I think, has an amazing, like she's just a great example of if Kim was here of I hate to be cliche, but like she's a strong female character, just like
Yeah.
Rebecca
mhm.
is. I think we need to like show her love.
And a different kind too. Like she, even in the early episodes, like when she's doing her photo shoot, she's kind of joking around with Ted. We see she's smarter under the hood than
Oh
anybody's given
yeah.
her credit for, right? Like or she's wittier than you would expect her to be. And she's funny and she's smart. And I think one of much like Ted and Beard, one of the best relationships in the show is her and Rebecca,
A thousand
and
Oh,
percent.
and how
hands
she
down. Yeah.
basically forces herself into Rebecca's circle. Like I think that was so great because there's that moment when Rebecca isn't convinced they're friends yet, and Keely just comes in, sits on the couch, takes off her shoes, and is just sitting there, and Rebecca's like, I guess we're doing this, like, and it's so great, and I think Keely um is actually one of those things that Rebecca needed to get
100%.
where she got by the end of season one. And we give a lot of credit to Ted for, being so open and pushy and all the things that he is to get Rebecca where she was, but she wouldn't have got there without
Keely. Oh,
Keely.
completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
Keely was
Keely.
actually intimidated by Rebecca. I remember
Hmm.
Oh
hearing
yeah.
Hmm.
that in the beginning. But and
When she shows her nudes, remember she's got them and she shows her the tablet with the nudes, and Keely's like, "Why are you hiding
I
these?"
think
She's
that's
like, "If
yeah.
that was me, I would leak them everywhere." Like she's
yeah,
hilarious.
for
But yeah,
sure.
such a different world. And that's the other thing about Keely is she is the character that is from something completely different than everybody else. Ted may not be soccer per se, but he is sports. Beard is sports. You've got the entire soccer team. You've got Rebecca's the owner of the team. Like everybody else is soccer, 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 and she's the person on the outside that is like the real world brought in.
She's
And
exactly. Well, I think they do a good job with everyone in this show at some point is the fish out of water.
mhm.
Everyone is awkward to some degree at some point. They have that feeling that they're on the outside.
I like
Yeah.
that. Thoughts on Zava really quick. Because I felt like his character kind of came and went. Like it
Yeah.
almost that felt a little also like I thought it was kind of cool at first to have this like ultra Ultraman, if you will, on the team, but then all of a sudden he just like pieces out because he wants to do something else, like I think a avocado farm or something.
Yes, because he
Um,
sends them the giant avocado.
Mhm.
yeah, it's like that was a little weird, but like I don't know, because I mean, yeah, like and then I was even talking about how like he was arrogant, but he delivered, So to me, it was
Yeah.
like once they had him on the team, I was like, oh, they're unstoppable now. But like, I don't know, like talk to me about like what you guys thought about him, because I felt like he was almost kind of pointless, to be honest with you.
Well, I think he was another one of those characters that's like a catalyst, right? Like he's there to
Yeah,
kind of show the team that they can be better, and then, he pushes them further because he is better than them. right? And so he's this thing that they want to aspire to. So they all come up. So when he leaves, they're still able to be better than they were before he got there. So like he is a character that is really just like a small chess piece on the board, right? Like he's just moving the thing forward a little bit, but he's not necessarily like pivotal to everything. He's just like a little agent of chaos and change to move the story forward from where it is. Um, but yeah, he really he's not as a person like important to them in the long run. But like I said, as a plot piece, he is helpful.
I also think he's a little glimpse of what Jamie could be in the future
Huh.
Sure,
if he didn't change. I think that's like his, ghost of
Christmas
future present.
future. Yeah.
Yeah. Um and eh, it does feel a little stilted when he leaves, but I think Kevin's right. I think he does really act just as a catalyst for where the team needs to head from there. Because I mean, remember the like one of the big things is in the game before Zava like takes over is it's figuring out where he and Jamie fit
Yeah.
Mhm.
together. And Zava's being there is a catalyst for Jamie to really push on Roy. He's not
Yeah.
training me.
Yeah. Training me, coach me.
Which he's another one. Phil Dunster's another one. You hear him, he actually picked a very specific British
Yeah.
accent for the role.
Manchester.
He sounds
Mhm.
absolutely nothing like that at
Yeah.
all.
He did a really good job.
Yeah. Um he Jamie Tartt. Um
Davy Tart did it. Davy Tart did it.
I thought that was one of the hardest moments, and I thought it was going to be a very interesting plot point when um Ted promises Sam that Jamie's not coming back, but then he
Oh,
gets pushed into it, and Sam feels kind of betrayed by a father figure
yeah.
Yeah.
at that point. And so I was worried more was going to be made of that. But
Yeah.
they took the characters in a little different direction. I do love that Jamie and Sam, like, if not oh, yeah, in that moment, and even if it was just he knew what it has to do, and Jamie writes it off as we all have to have matching kits
Yes.
when we're out there. When Jamie goes and he's the second one to put the tape
Hmm.
over the thing when Sam does it, I thought that was a big character moment for
Mhm.
Jamie, and whether that was just PR on the team trying to say, "Hey, I'm one of the team, fellas." Um, I thought that was a big moment for him too with Sam, and a little bit at the beginning of Jamie's transformation because he was trying at that point, but Jamie's the perfect example of somebody who just needs to grow up,
Mhm.
Yeah.
who
Thousand
just
percent. And just chill with his ego,
uh,
and I just thought what was really cosmic was but weird but cosmic was literally when you go back to Jamie's house. It was funny because Sony's like, yo, Jamie's mom is like kind of hot,
right, bro.
and it's like I know at one point I'm sure Roy was even like, huh. But when you go to Jamie's bedroom and you see those posters of an older Roy, like a younger Roy Kent, and then
Yes,
Keeley. How weird is that, dude? Like that you got to meet both your heroes, right? And then your heroes end up like together. Like that's insane. But I thought that was a really interesting thing. And then it was funny how like finally, yeah, I loved it when Roy is just kind of like let's go out for a drink, after like he's realizing that like hey, like him getting back with Keeley might be threatened by the whole Jamie thing. And then he's just kind of like they're drinking their beers and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need you to like, step aside." And then like Jamie's like, no.
No.
Like, he's like, "I'm not, that's just not happening." And then the next scene, they're all like they were
I
like,
that whole thing, I
"Yo,
know.
it was
Still,
great."
just two stupid boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was I, again that falls into those like amazing moments in this show, and the show really does an amazing job of stringing together wonderful moments one after another after another after another. I think it's one of the it's just such a phenomenal filmmaking device when Ted is talking about his dad and Rebecca is talking about her
Oh
dad,
my
and they're
God.
cutting back and forth in the story in that episode, and
Thank you.
and still at the end of all of that, at the end of his meltdown, Ted still shows up late and has Rebecca's back and starts singing with her.
Girl. Whew. You know what? Thank you for reminding me of that. That was like if okay, so if the beard episode was my favorite episode, that scene you just talked about might have been my favorite scene. Thank you for reminding me. That was when I was like, what am I watching right now?
Yeah,
I've never seen that. This is not comedy.
Yeah.
that's
Well, and on a different note too, like one of the best rivalries in the show is Ted and Rupert, because
oh
Ted's the first person that you see that understands exactly who Rupert is
yes,
without Rebecca's, how much she hates him. Like
Yeah,
hers is fury. Like she hates Rupert. But Ted, when they have the auction,
Tartt.
that
Yeah,
that first that auction's before the dart game. So when they're
right.
at
yep,
the auction, um, you see him come to the realization that like he's like it comes to it comes to mind that if you had Robbie Williams in your phone, you could have easily just as easily called him and asked him not to show up as you could have called him to show up.
Yeah.
And like
yeah,
he knows exactly what's happening there, and then he brings in the street drummer, the street musician, who's just dope. Like that. I love that jam that he has, man. That song's
yes,
dope. The other thing that I think is funny, and it's a bit of like behind the scenes funny, is that the woman that Rupert leaves with was Jason Sudeikis' girlfriend at the time.
yes.
It was his actual girlfriend. Uh, but yeah, the way that Ted always sees and always reacts to Rupert, it's like if you see like somebody that trains like cobras, you go in and you know exactly what they are, and you're able to not be affected or attacked by them because you understand
I got your number.
what they are. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
And
that's
he,
Ted even says he hates a bully,
yep,
Yeah.
and I think
yep,
at one point he just calls Rupert out as exactly that.
yep.
Yeah, that dart scene is probably one of the best scenes filmed in television in the last 20 years.
Damn,
It,
dude.
it it's just it's
It,
so smart. Like,
barbecue sauce.
yeah,
Like, it just and you know what's going to happen. It's you know how it's all going to spell out because Ted never would have gotten into it if he didn't know
yeah,
what the outcome was going to
yeah.
be. We know that about Ted enough now, but it's just that whole and his whole little diatribe about well, Ted, do you ever play darts?
Yeah.
And I would have to say yes, I did every day, every Sunday, and you're just like, oh shit,
Yep. And that's the first inkling that you get that something happened to his dad too, because he says,
yes,
until my dad passed.
yeah,
And so you know without really knowing because you don't understand the impact of that yet. But that's like the first time you hear that his dad passed when he was very young. And so that was an interesting, like, sort of nod to what's coming down the line. And another character that gets that I think doesn't get enough credit throughout the show, and just how an amazing punching bag he is Higgins.
Oh, Higgins hands down one of my favorite characters on the show from beginning to end. I
Good
love the way
call.
he stands up to Rebecca. I love that when she comes to get him after she's fired him, he's grown a goatee and he's
Yes,
fucking playing the stand
the
up bass.
cello or
You're
yeah, the
like, what the
bass, the
fuck
bass.
is this guy? And then he tells you the story about how he met his wife, and it just Higgins in a weird way is almost the moral anchor for the show.
1,000%. A
Yeah.
1,000%. I mean, between the Christmas episode, hosting the family, and I remember he was actually so one of the things I never really liked was Ned Beatty's character in the Superman films. I can only handle
Oh,
so much bumbling shit, right? But I get it, whatever. And I feel like Higgins was kind of that guy in the first couple of episodes and towards the end. But I felt like as the show went on in the in the middle and whatever, he's actually not that big of a clown. And but he was that kind of, like you said, the anchor. Like he always had the right thing to say or the right perspective. And the best part about it, man, holy crap, dude. Like I love this. He's someone who I would call like a glue type figure. Like he's the glue. Like a lot of times in organizations in corporate America, the people who
yes.
are the glue are totally overlooked. But without them, it all falls apart. I know even for me in my own life in different like organizations, I know I'm a glue guy. Right? I'm a glue guy
Hmm.
who then ends up becoming whatever like in the end.
Yeah.
But that's who he was. And I feel terrible that I just did it. I never once, as we're talking about this show, thought about Higgins. And then Kevin's like, yo, what about Higgins? And I'm like, holy shit, dude. Even when I think Diamond Dogs, the first face that comes to
Yep.
my face is Higgins. Like he'll jump through a window just to like wherever he is in the building. If they do Diamond Dogs mount up, he's showing up.
Yep.
Yo, he was great. Thank you.
And he dispenses wisdom
Yeah. Just like
constantly.
out of his ass. Just like he'll come up with something. And he's just so great. And I think, and Beard was good at that too. And I think,
Yes.
the relationship, I love the relationship between Beard and Ted, from the jump goes back a very long way.
Oh yeah.
They don't have to say it. I mean, they do at some point, but like you just know that these guys have been doing this a long time. There's that whole finishing each other's sentences, knowing what the other one's talking about when they're not saying shit. Like they are as tight gets.
Yeah.
Um, and so like that relationship was pretty incredible too to see that.
Can
Um,
we talk about how Beard got off the plane
Oh, I love that. That's so fucking.
in the finale? He's like, I got this. Splash face. And then he just starts. I'm sorry. I just had to like throw that in really quick because that was just like, what a way to go. I mean, the fact that like even though they're so tight, Ted has so much love for Beard that if you don't want to leave, stay.
yeah.
Well,
It's so cool.
in a lot of ways, it was like Keeley going out and starting a PR for Mom Rebecca. Beard, okay. Beard has paid off his Wookiee life debt to Ted and can now go
Ah.
on and do that. Yeah, I think that was a whole lot of letting go. Like I think each one of them saying, "I know you'll be okay," to each
Yeah.
other, and I'm just happy he's going to be back for the fourth.
Yeah, yeah. The idea of Ted without Beard is very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like you need those two to be together. And looking into that show in the future, the real glue, the people that are really important, is Rebecca, Ted, Beard. I don't, is Keeley coming back for that?
unconfirmed.
I know
Um,
Roy Kent is in that, and Jamie
he's
Tartt is in that same boat.
there. Well, okay, so I know it's confirmed
Oh,
that
you know
both.
what? Check it out. I'm reading it. Yeah. Returning cast according to online, Jason, Ted, Rebecca, believe it or not, Coach Beard,
Yep.
Roy Kent, Keeley,
Oh,
and
yeah,
Higgins are
yeah.
confirmed to
Keeley,
return.
I forgot. Keeley and Higgins were in that
Well,
promo
because
where they're in
The
the
entire
pancake
thing's
shop.
Keeley's idea.
But
Like
Jamie's
that's
not coming back.
no. I think though.
There's rumors that he'll be back, but not as a central character. Like
Okay.
Yeah,
he'll make an appearance or something.
I believe. Yeah, I believe that it's been confirmed that he does make like a cameo at one point, and also Roy's character is not that heavy
Okay.
in it. If I remember, like the initial reports that they've set out. But I love that they're doing a women's soccer club.
Yeah.
I think it's great. It'll be very interesting to see Ted coach a bunch of women.
Hmm. Yeah, see how he deals with that because it is an entirely different environment. And to be fair, like if you've ever watched women's sports, women are meaner than men. like physically meaner than men in their sports.
Okay,
Like so
so
it's a
no.
different world.
You
So
got a kid, so right?
my
Yeah.
daughter, no, my daughter played lacrosse all through high school and club
That's
up
not a
through that.
gentle sport anyways.
Now, men's lacrosse has always had pads, helmets, gloves. Women's lacrosse in 2027 at all levels will have gloves and helmets
No
with the
pads.
full face mask because women's lacrosse the game has become that much more aggressive
Oh,
and physical already
Yeah.
that they just for their protection at this point people are shooting faster and harder that they have to add it. I mean, they didn't wear like really the only protection women have is you get a pair of goggles and you might wear gloves, but there's no other padding whatsoever. The goalie gets a chest protector, it's basically a catcher's
Hmm.
kind of thing, and like some thigh pads. Um, so yeah, they changed that. Women's sports is changing in a lot of ways. It's incredibly aggressive,
Hmm.
incredibly physical. It is not like honestly, Michelle, Kevin,
Hmm.
Tokarski,
Yeah.
she bought season tickets to the Valkyries, the WNBA thing. So I started watching a little WNBA on TV. Um, it's it's way more physical than you think it would be as like your idea of how physical women's sports is.
It's like 80s men's basketball.
It's
Like
I was just about to say like it's enjoyable to the point where I feel like I'm watching old school like men's physicality basketball. Like they
mhm.
chase shit down now. Like it's actually really enjoyable. And I think message. I think if people give women's sports a bigger chance, I think they'll find they'll enjoy them a lot more than they think they will.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Like it's yeah, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, just in
Anyway, back to
any
Ted.
women's sport where there is an ability to be aggressive. I just in everything I've seen in my experience, as a viewer, they're just they have more to prove, I think, and it's the same argument that you make when you're talking about watching minor league baseball or college basketball, right? These people have
Yeah.
more to prove, so they have a little more heart in the game, a little more stake in the game, and they're gonna be a little crazier, and it's watching some women's sports, especially the ones that are contact, and like it goes back to like not Powerpuff, Powder Puff football, right? When the
Yep.
girls would play football at
Well,
lunchtime, right? They'd sit up to dude, they were mean to each other, like they had to prove that they were badass.
so no bullshit, dude. It powder puff is you're right. What they call they change it now. It's
Yeah,
power puff because powder
Oh,
calling it powder puff evokes too much of a thing.
yeah.
But it doesn't matter because that game's going away now that it's a regular sport. Women's flag football.
But
okay.
flag football is less contact than Powder Puff was. Powder Puff was like, we're gonna play real football, and they were just
These girls are vicious though.
yeah,
Watching them play, yeah,
yeah.
like it's
and and that's not to take away from their athleticism either. That they are incredible athletes. These women that are
yeah.
doing this stuff, right? It's not just like they're mean because they're not good at the game or something. Like they're very good. They're just very tough, and it shows when you watch. Like they got something to prove. They got a chip on their shoulder in this stuff. So it will be really interesting to see if that becomes an aspect of the new season or series of Ted Lasso because it is a different world. Like coaching a woman's sport is very, very different.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm not even cautiously optimistic and excited about it. I don't think it's going to be the magic in a bottle that the original Ted Lasso was. It can't be. But if you're bringing back enough of that cast and enough of the core writing crew,
The writers, yeah, that's a big deal too.
and I think if they've cast the new people well enough, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think we're gonna be able to follow up on the relationships that we really want to know about and how they've evolved and what they've become. Um, and then I think we're gonna get a whole new zany cast of characters.
Yes. Yeah. I've seen one of the women, um excuse me, I think she's more of the Nate character. Like I don't think she's a a player, but I recognize her and I know she's funny. And so like that those little things like seeing these characters that are going to be in here that we don't know anything about yet, but you
Yeah,
see the actor and you recognize them, it gives you a little faith, right? And like I said, the writers are what's important. You got to get those people that understand the existing characters for one,
yeah,
but also understand the chemistry that made it special in the first place. I think it's good to go in with low expectations, but a part of me does really hope that it does, um, you know, come close to matching the original series. I think that it is hard to catch lightning in a bottle a second time, but
yeah.
it's not impossible.
I
I
also
have a
think,
question. Oh,
yeah, no.
I have a question for both of you. So, did you guys watch the show as it was airing, or were you more like me, where like I just binged it? So I feel like the bingers, that is one kind of benefit I think bingers have. It's like everything is just fresher, and it's a different experience than watching it as it's on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
like I said, I didn't pick up on it until the fifth episode of season one. And from then on, week to week, I absolutely loved it. It almost brought back some of that old school. Like there's some shows that I'm very much enjoying that they are releasing them. They're not releasing them all at once. It's a week by week release that you go. That's why I mean I think that's part of why I still like some stupid broadcast TV. It's like
Yeah,
horrible formulaic. I like that. Don't get me wrong. I love when they drop something that I can binge all at once
yeah, for
and
sure.
consume the whole thing. It's fucking phenomenal. But like right now, for instance, I am chomping at the bit for this week's episode of The Pit.
Hmm.
By the way, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm finally gonna join it. I think The Pit is the only show in the history of my life, literally, where I've not heard one single detractor ever in my life. And then B, everybody who talks about The Pit doesn't just say it's good. They say it's fucking amazing. So
Yeah,
that's why I know
I,
we're
I was
starting
gonna
it.
say fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
It is The Pit is like I know Kevin your hatred of the medical show with this. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. That's
Like
what I keep
it
uh,
really
hearing.
is.
So
I
Even
mean,
even
I
just
I love a good medical show. It just can't be cheesy. Like I love House. House was always one of my favorites. But like I could never get into something like Grey's Anatomy because it's
Anatomy
too
or Chicago
soapy.
Med, get that?
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
too
The Pit
soapy.
is nothing like that. I mean,
Right.
there's a soap opera aspect to it. Obviously, it's the personal relationships between everybody. It's not just medical procedures. The medical procedures are all sound. I've seen enough TikToks and
Yeah.
things from doctors just watching it that they're like, nope, super accurate, super accurate, super
Yeah.
accurate. That I absolutely love. Um, the characters on the Pit, it's insane. Just from a filmmaking standpoint, the pictures that they create and the way they do things. I'll tell you what, you know who's a fucking awesome director and who's in the show? No spoil, I won't spoiler it, but remember the actor Sean Hattasy?
Yes. Yes. He
Okay.
he just got a bunch of praise for an episode he did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he is amazing on that show. He's only in it a little bit because he's the night shift, but he winds up playing a big part in season one, and he's come back a little bit in season two. But he's also directed a few episodes.
Mhm.
Dude should just stay behind the camera. Good actor. He's actually a great actor.
He is actually, I like him a lot.
Way better than I've ever given him credit for. But he was also he's also to me really a standout on Southland. If you
Yes.
ever
Oh,
watched that,
Southland's incredible.
it's on and it's
To
always
me,
on Netflix now
Southland
too.
is the cop version of the Pit.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
for sure.
Southland is easily the grittiest like LA cop show I've ever seen. Like it feels like you're on the beat, and the cast is incredible.
Yes.
And yeah, it was so good that when it got canceled on network television, TNT picked
Yep.
it
Gave
up,
it
and they're
another
like,
season.
we need to give this show a
Yeah.
little more time. Um, but easily, yeah, easily one of the best cop shows I've ever seen.
Oh, Hands down. It's up there. It's up there with The Wire and NYPD Blue and all
Mhm.
those. Like, I don't think enough. I don't. I think the problem is
Not
enough
enough
people
people
haven't
know.
seen it.
Yeah.
He was in the faculty. Oh my
Oh,
God.
Sean
He was
Hannity
Yeah.
like
goes
one of the main
way back.
characters. Yeah,
He
the
goes
curly
way back.
haired. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he showed up in Smallville at some point too. Like he's been around for a long
Oh
time.
yeah.
But yeah, on the pit, he's that guy. Like he's making a name for himself behind the
Oh,
camera.
I've never heard of him, but his rap sheet is
Is
Oh yeah.
long, is long. A lot of times he plays kind of a dick, like he plays kind of a
Yep.
young asshole, kind of whatever. But he's really good at. In Southland, like he's less of that, but
okay.
he's really
Oh
good in that.
yeah.
But like you're saying, like having going back to Ted Lasso, I think I don't even know if I picked it up during the first season. I may have binged the first season, and then the second season caught it all
Yeah.
Or third. Yeah.
week to week. And I think like you said, some shows are just better that way. And I think Ted Lasso, it works that way, not because it's suspenseful. Like it's not that um it's not like you're hanging on the next storyline. It's not something like Paradise where you're waiting for that next twist, or Lost where you're waiting to unpack the next like big moment, right? It's almost like you watch an episode of Ted Lasso and you get that burst of like feel good, and then you're good for a week, and then you come back and you watch the next one a week later and you're like, oh, this is my feel good, and then you go like, so it's almost beneficial not for the storyline but just for like the viewer to have that to look forward to every week.
Yeah.
I get that. Can I say something? One thing I want to say also, I noticed like and this is the opposite of what happened with Game of Thrones. So the first season, especially, the episodes aren't that long, maybe like
Hmm.
30 minutes, 40 minutes. But then towards the end, like certainly by episode 7 or 8 or 9 of season three, yo, we're talking hour
Yeah.
15, like they're longer. And I was
Yeah.
grateful because I remember by even episode 4 or 5 of season three, I'm like, how are they going to tie this up? Like,
Yeah.
I don't see any end in sight here. But then I'm realizing, oh, yeah, no, they put like, the last couple episodes are like two episodes in one. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
made it work, but it didn't feel
Nope.
overstuffed and it didn't feel rushed. It was perfect.
Which is what I've argued for streaming for a long time, is that
Yeah,
you're not stuck in the limitations that you're stuck in with network
there you
television.
go.
A drama on network television, when you write the script, has to be about 44 minutes long. And a
Yeah.
sitcom has to be about 22 minutes long because you have to fit, and you have to break in specific points because your commercials have to fit in. You only have so much space to write each thing. Whereas with a streaming show, you can write a 30-minute episode or you can write a 60-minute episode, and it can be, in that same genre and not necessarily impact the story. I mean, you see a lot of these shows where the some episodes are shorter and some episodes are longer, because it suits the plot. You're just not limited. And to be fair, I think Ted Lasso is a show that gets that kind of mature rating because Roy Kent has a foul mouth,
Oh my
There's
God.
but
language. Yeah.
but it feels like natural language, which you lose on network television a lot. Like you have to accept that in the real world, there's a lot of people that say fuck, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that don't. Like you definitely have your people that do not say it, and to be able to use a more natural language, or a character that speaks in a very specific way, is sort of a freedom that you have on streaming that you don't have um,
I
on
also feel
network.
like going back to the episode lengths, I also loved how Ted Lasso, even though like how in network television there was like the special episodes or like,
Mhm.
or there's like the hour-long episode of the comedy where there's part one and
Yeah.
part two. Like well, I think Growing Pains, they went to like Russia at one point. Like anyway, but I loved that the Amsterdam episode did feel like a movie too. So I
Mhm.
just felt so the Christmas episode felt like a movie and the Amsterdam episode felt like a movie. So it's just so cool when you can have a show that already feels elevated, but then certain moments when the show feel even more elevated and
Yeah.
special
Yeah.
and turning points. So I just wanted to throw that out there really quick. Sorry.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then I think, like I said, the streaming just gives you advantages that you don't get, elsewhere. You can have a 6, 7, 8, 12 episode season and then the next season can have a different number of episodes. Like, you're just not tied to the same restrictions that you have.
So I think it was Andrew, or it might have been you, Kevin, that posted something about that, about how um because so spoiler, um doing an ER rewatch with my mother-in-law right now, and even she at this point is like, holy shit, 23 episodes in
Yep.
this fucking season. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, that's how they used to roast that. But somebody said
Sterling
this is
K. Brown, I think, is the one you're thinking of. That just, yeah.
yeah, he says this thing that they don't like, the shorter seasons also work for streaming because you're trying to get subscribers, not advertisers. So you do these short seasons and then you have room to go, look, this is what's new. Let me pull in more subscribers with this
Yeah.
Title.
program and
Hmm.
dump it in and go like that. So you're not having to tell a story. I mean, could you imagine though if they did Game of Thrones, a 23 episode season of Game of Thrones? I think part of it's
Yeah,
also
it'd been a nightmare.
you're looking at I think some of what they're doing too also with these shows is the budgets now for a 13 episode, Ted Lasso between location and might
Bigger.
cost you what 23 episodes of ER cost,
Hmm.
Right. Right.
you
Yeah,
know?
because those old shows, you built your sets, and then you had
Yeah.
them all year long. You didn't have to do anything, right? You were in your location. Look at old Law and Orders,
Oh
right?
yeah.
They were in the office most of the time, and that's just a set that they can move pieces around and they're good to go. Yeah, and so
Oh
yeah,
yeah, no, if you watch so I love Law and Order and SVU. If you watch those, like binge yourself through a season, you will see them back at the same restaurant and bar and other places for exterior shots, just shooting from different angles
yep, yep.
than they did earlier in the season. You're like, holy shit, that's the bodega from fucking that dude got shot in there.
Hmm.
And now some dude's dragging a little girl out the back door. But
Yeah.
so yeah, Ted, like they shoot everything on location. I know, I take that back. I did look into this. They did build some of the sets for the interior of the offices and things like
Hmm.
that are on
Yeah.
a soundstage.
Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense. Yeah, all the outdoor stuff. Yeah, you got to go. Like it's like it blows me away when a network television show like The Rookie, for example, they went to um uh,
Prague,
Europe for some reason, Prague, yeah,
Prague.
for
Yeah,
like
I just I
an
just watched it.
episode or two. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you're like, this is unnecessary. It makes no sense. And you're spending a bunch of money to do it for no good reason. And yeah, and I thoroughly enjoy The Rookie. It is not a show that I would
yeah,
recommend to somebody like Andrew because it's a
yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh,
It's like it's somehow a parody of police work without being a parody of police work. Like it's just some of the stuff is just silly,
the first two
but it.
seasons, it was a decent like cop dramedy.
Mhm.
Like they were like it worked. It was very grounded. Once you get past that, it is all over the place now, where it's that thing that people complain about cop TV shows. You have this guy that's a beat cop that is suddenly working with an FBI task
Yep,
force
yep.
because international people are targeting his wife, who's a firefighter who went to DC to work with her former captain. Like it's so convoluted and
Yeah, it's
bizarre.
because it's
Okay,
been built on year over year. Yeah, and that character, like I actually really like Jenna Dewan
yeah,
as like a person and as an actress, but her character is like the Swiss Army knife character, where
yeah,
she's a firefighter, but she's also an EMT, but she also used to be in the Marines, but we're going to send her to DC to work on like with the CIA undercover, and she used to be married to a serial killer, and you're like, what the fuck? This is one character that has
yeah.
to like hold all this stuff. And I'm like, I hate her character because of that. Like, I like her as an actress, but the character, you're just like, dude, how is she going to show up today and save the day in some stupid ass way that has nothing to do with anything that she's ever done before? Yeah. And
So,
so, going back to something like Ted Lasso,
well, no. Now that I know,
where,
now that I know
yeah,
you like the rookie, you'll appreciate this slightly. Just hit my playlist. Fucking Cop Daddy.
what is that?
So arrest me, but make
Oh,
it sexy.
yes. Yes,
Cop
yes.
Daddy, cutie on duty.
Yes, hilarious.
It's such
Uh,
a great. That was the best part of that Prague episode.
Hmm.
Was when he and Bailey are spending the extra day, and all of a sudden he's sitting there, and there's some dude singing it in
Yeah, on the
Czech, and he's
bridge.
like, "What
Yeah,
the fuck?"
yeah,
Andrew, don't worry about it. You don't need to know.
No
yeah.
worries.
But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, again, going back to Ted Lasso, you have something that because it's so condensed, because it's 3 seasons, 8 to 12 episodes a season, and every character was created with intention, right?
Yeah.
So when we look at a character like Zava, and we're like, that guy doesn't really make a lot of sense, he still works and he's still thought out and he still fits and then he leaves,
Well, no,
but
that was the
he
point,
makes
though.
an
That
impact.
Zava,
Yeah,
exactly. Zava's not making sense was his point, and his impact
yeah,
was that he didn't like it. It is that thing in sports where, like, okay, for instance, when fucking what's his dick came to play for the LA Galaxy or whatever it was, um, Scary Spices or Posh Spices
Oh,
husband
David
Beckham?
Beckham.
Beckham.
Yeah,
Um, I love that when I say Posh Spice's husband, everybody gets
We
right
all do.
away.
yeah, yeah.
Um, 90s, what?
We're men,
Uh,
damn it.
but he didn't like make this massive impact that he thought he was going to make. Granted, he was at the end of his career and everything else, but that's kind of like that Zava thing was like,
Yeah,
you could take a star to the show, but if he doesn't fit in the team, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
yeah,
Speaking of teams, no. Terrible. What's the word? Segue. But representation, something I talk about as well. And there's a lot of great representation on this show. However, um, when Jack was basically showing favoritism towards Keeley, and then they're basically hanging out at the office and they're drinking. Oh, I knew, I could from a
Oh,
mile
for
away,
sure.
oh, this is happening, right? But then when Jack ends up being this kind of showers her with gifts because she wants control. And then finally, when this scandal happens and she refuses to apologize, and then Jack's like, basically, I'm pulling funding. And yeah, Jack can blame it on the board, but we know Jack was part of that too.
Oh,
I just felt like every kind of group got some sort of cool representation except for the lesbians. I'm sorry. Now, Saloni was like, that wasn't a knock against lesbians. That was a knock against rich people.
yeah.
And I was like, yes, true, but it just sucks that it happened to be a lesbian, you
Yeah,
know?
so
yeah,
so
So,
I'm not. I get that. I'm not worried about that. We're gonna get that in season 4.
right. Yeah, exactly. Good call.
That is,
yeah,
it's such a cliche and a stereotype, but that is a reality of women's sports too. Like,
Very, very fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
you
No,
know,
you're right. You literally
um,
just answered the question. Yep. Boom.
so I think that representation is going to wind up being, I don't want to say in our face, but all over the place. Like, it'll be a thing. But like Kevin said, the way they handled, uh,
Colin?
Colin,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a thing without being a thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's just going to be part of a thing. It's like, oh, this is
Right.
my girlfriend. This is my wife. It's not
Yeah.
gonna. It's not gonna be like, we're
Like,
not gonna have a
how do
very
we deal
special
with
episode
lesbians? Yes.
where the
right,
goalie
right.
comes out to everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not going to be the ABC special episode, right? Like
yeah.
it's just going to be
Yes.
this is how it is. This is who we
You're
are,
right.
and we do that. And that's fine. I think when you make it feel like you're on a soapbox about something, that's when it actually loses the impact that you're trying to make. Um,
Completely.
like I
Good
said,
call.
Schitt's Creek was amazing at this. It was so, and they even in Schitt's Creek they even had a character that doesn't realize he's gay, and he has his own whole
Yeah.
awakening, and it's such a smooth transition. It's such a thing that it's done so well, and it's it's perfect, but it's again, it's not like let me tell you about gay people. Like it's just there's
So it's,
just
I don't know. I think Andrew picked it up earlier when I said message. It's a bit from just one of the
Don't be a
silliest things
menace.
ever. Don't be a menace to South Central or drink your
yeah,
juice in the hood. When they do something like that, and then Keenan Ivory Wayans pops in, message, and he
Yes,
drops
dude.
in, and exactly, it doesn't feel like that. Like, that's such
yeah,
a great thing that he.
Yeah.
I love that bit that he poked fun at that.
Yeah.
because it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But there is
Yeah.
something about even when Ice Cube is sitting at the end and either they don't know, don't show, or don't care about what's going on in the hood. I'm just like,
Really quick, because I am literally exhausted here. I
Yeah.
want to give a shout out to the kids. So I think Phoebe did a great job. She was great as Roy's niece.
She's so
I
awesome.
want to give a shout out to, hold on a second, Nora. I think she was also like, I
she,
forget.
oh,
Oh,
that little girl or that young woman, great actress,
Was that
yeah.
fit right in.
um Rebecca's niece
Yeah,
or
Sassy's.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it
And
was
she
his
had
no,
Sassy,
kind of a
yeah.
crush on
it's Sassy.
Sam.
Yeah.
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 No, it's Rebecca's god. It's Rebecca's goddaughter. It's
Yeah, yeah,
Sassy's
yeah.
daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It's Sassy's
That's the
daughter.
kid. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she. I absolutely love that actress. She held her own in a room with some pretty good actors and actresses
Yeah.
in every scene she was in.
1000%.
You
Thousand
know,
percent. I think Ted Lasso's kid himself was great. I
Hmm.
mean, like everybody brought their A game. And I think that the Kit Man, Charlie, who kind of takes over for Nate, he
Yeah.
he he always reminded me of like one of the randos in Game of Thrones who might get killed later. Like, like he's had that kind of
yes,
wafy boy thing going on.
Yeah.
But he was great. I think Mrs. Bowen, the teacher who kind of had a crush and was flirting on Roy, was
I
great.
wanted her
She
and
was
Roy
she
to
was
get
great.
together. I
She
was
was
waiting
great.
for that. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if that would be fun for
Oh
season
yeah.
4 if Roy is dating the school teacher
I love how
because
she
there
even
was a
like,
definite flirtation there
oh, thousand
Oh, for
percent. And I love
sure.
how she's
for
like,
sure.
she criticizes herself the same way I think a dude would criticize ourselves. Like, we try a line, it doesn't work. She's like, what the fuck was I like? It was so
Yeah.
great when
Oh
he
yeah,
walks away and
that's
she's like,
great.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, fuck.
that was great.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through just like shout out everybody. Shandy, that was like kind of like Keely's friend who like wanted to start the app that was for
Oh, yep.
something.
Yep.
Like she was cute, but she was just funny and just so dumb.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
was kind of what you thought Keely was going to be in the beginning.
mm,
And I feel like going back to the new Kit Man, it's almost like that's what they thought Nate was going to be, and then they
Exactly.
realized there was more to Nate, so they went ahead and developed Nate, and then they brought in this guy that was Nate without the growth.
Yes,
who was always there at the
that's
moments when Roy
hilarious.
and when Roy and
Just in the
Jamie.
damn kit room.
Yeah, yeah. What was he doing with the shoes? Like I forget what it was, but it was hilarious,
uh,
hilarious. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just a great show overall. I think, the takeaway really is that there, no matter what you see about Ted Lasso on the surface, there's a lot more to it
yeah,
as you watch.
1000%.
Like you said, I mean, it's a comedy. I mean, it's funny all
yeah.
the time. Like
I,
there's not an episode that isn't funny. But there's a lot more heart and a lot more drama underneath that permeates
Heart,
through the
drama,
whole
and
thing.
depth. I want to
Hmm.
say depth. I mean, because
yeah.
I look for depth, and I just didn't like. I was just being a dick, but like I was like, be a fish, like really, like that's what
No,
you
that
got, like be a
goldfish thing.
fish.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, even at the end, like when his kid messes up the goal, and he's like, "Remember what I said? Be a fish." Like even
Yeah.
even bring that back at the end,
Hmm.
But it's like the depth is something that you don't normally see. Like how many shows, comedies do you know of where the main character is having panic attacks and his dad killed himself and he's dealing with that? Like really,
Yeah.
dude? Like is that really a common comedy thing? Like
Nope.
so. Thank you. I think people need to
and
know that.
and every character has growth in some way, shape, or form. Like every character that you could possibly care about goes through something, which is incredible in itself in a very short show
Yeah.
with relatively short episodes. You manage to take all of these characters, Isaac, Colin, Sam, Roy, Keeley, everybody. They all go through something and they come out the other side. And I think that's not easy to do. And
No.
and
No.
it's one of the things that just makes the show so masterful. And it is hilarious that, like you said, it came from a little skit that they did at the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
15 years ago or something like that. And they just honed the character a little bit, and and made something really special. But
Yeah, it's just one of those shows that you, like I said, at least for me, you identify with almost every character at some point. It tells you a message that you've heard 1,000 times, but for some reason, when one of these characters says it, it sounds different and fresh and new. Um, it's chock full of so much conventional wisdom. It breaks. I mean, it. I don't want to say it breaks boundaries, but it's really nice to see a show not just addressing mental health, but addressing the way men deal with mental health and how men should be with other men. Like
Amen.
for all they talk about like locker room talk and things like that, that locker room was one of the safest places I think I've ever seen exhibited on television or in a sports movie or something else as a safe place for not men to be men, but for just these human beings to be themselves.
Amen.
yeah. Yeah, I think the other thing too is like I said, there's a lot of like life lessons in this show and whatever, but the one thing that it never does is preach.
Nope.
And I think that's what makes so much of it work is that you feel like you're on this journey with them and you're just learning from them and experiencing this with them. But again, they're not on their soapbox. They're not giving you the ABC special. It's just they are going through life and we're seeing them go through it. And I think again, it helps that it's multiple characters going through it. If we
Oh yeah.
only saw Ted and Rebecca go through everything all the time, it would feel so stereotypical. But instead, we see all these different characters go through different things, and I think that's huge.
I mean, just Danny Rojas with killing the goddamn dog.
Football is death.
Yo, and then he's got the two girls in bed, and then he's got the two girls at the end. Like Danny is hilarious.
Yeah,
He actually, not to bring Myers-Briggs, but he is ENFP dude all the way, possibly ESFP, but because I was a performer. But either way, like he was just such a bright, shining light. And then Danny, all of a sudden, when they're on opposite teams, becomes evil and like breaks Van Damme's nose, and he's just
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
and then he goes back to being normal again, and it's just like Van Damme's like, what the hell, like. Yo, Danny, I mean, yeah, I mean, I love that guy. Shout out Rebecca's mom. She was hilarious.
so
She was
Uh,
awesome.
such a trip. I mean, again, I know we've been talking for like about 2 hours now, but I think we did a pretty thorough like examination review of this show. If you're a Ted Lasso fan, we hope that we helped you kind of walk through memory lane and maybe inspire you to even do a rewatch before season 4 starts again.
Yeah,
But again, you're talking to a convert. I absolutely was unrepentant in my dismissal of Ted Lasso, and now here I am, singing its praises enthusiastically, if you
and
couldn't,
waiting for season 4.
and waiting for
yeah.
season 4.
Yeah,
It this show just means so much to me on so many levels.
yeah,
It's just like it's a good happy place show for me. It is one of those shows that I can pick up wherever. Like I'm
yeah.
just like,
And I think too, like, yes, I know there's language in it, and there's a few adult themes, but we've watched it as a family at least 3 times.
oh yeah,
Right? Like
completely.
beginning to end. So, like, like you said, like for me, it is personal. Like it's something that we did together as a family and enjoyed. Andrew, you watched it with your soon to be wifey, and that's something that you guys have that you didn't have
Oh,
before.
trust
And
me.
so you're welcome. I'm glad that I forced that upon you and created memories for you.
Thousand
That
percent, homie.
so
I'm just curious.
I'm such a
It's
giver.
is does Saloni ever? Because I do this like when I'm watching something with someone who I'm like when I've turned someone on to something and I want to see it. Did she ever just kind of like stand there and look at you and watch you to see your reaction?
Definitely for certain scenes, 1000%.
Because
Yeah,
I loved that's one of my favorite things to do when I know
that's
something's
thousand
coming. I'm
percent.
just like, oh, I want to see how.
Yeah, they react. Yep. 1000%.
It's like when you watch
Yeah.
The Room with someone new.
Oh yes,
And I do
exactly.
it the same thing. That's funny. And even with me, like watching BSG, like I definitely was waiting for certain moments, like whatever, like the moment that what's his name? Did you watch BSG, Pete, or no?
Some of it, yeah.
All right. So when Adama gets shot, by
Mhm.
Boomer, I was wait like when Saloti was like, what? Is that moment comes out of nowhere. And it was just great, for example. So yeah.
Yes. It's like when I watched Lost with you guys and just gave you so much to work with.
Man, that was so fun. That was so fun. Anyways, I'll save that for the rest of the show because I got more to say to Pete on that.
But as far as Ted Lasso goes, I think we've covered it. If you love it, watch it again. If you've never seen it for any reason, hopefully somewhere in this episode we convinced you somehow to go watch it because it is worth watching. And so with that, I will say thank you to everybody for watching this episode. Thank you for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.